to talk to this motivational speaker this morning because this hits home for a lot of us, I think. Are you in control of your life? Or do you feel like you're sometimes dragging yourself through the day, the week, the month, just to get to the end, to the next one? You have the ability to change all of that with a little change of your thought, a little bit of a motivation. Motivational speaker Brant Menswar joining me live this morning from Winter Park, Florida, sharing some advice to help us all get control of our own life. I think this, a lot of people are going to be able to say, oh, this sounds like me, at least in different parts of my life. I want to start at the beginning here. Are you seeing this as a problem for many people?
I think it is. I think it's a problem for most of us, to be honest with you, especially post-pandemic and now trying to deal with what life looks like. Kids getting readjusted to school, maybe they don't want to go back to school. They're trying to deal with that. The job market, the economy, everything puts that pressure on us.
Yeah, I know that one of your main points is really time that we all hold ourselves accountable. And how do you think we need to do that? How so?
Well, we can't hold ourselves accountable until we have something to hold ourselves accountable to. So we have to discover our non-negotiable values, those 4 or 5 deeply held personal core values that no matter how much someone wants to try to influence us, they simply won't be moved.
Okay, next point is talking about being broken. A lot of people deal with this because they look at themselves. I don't want to just use the word victim because now a lot of people, talk about that in a different way.
Yeah.
But you basically say, kind of get over it.
Yeah. A lot of people live life at arm's length, right? And we do that because we're afraid of being broken. But the truth is, if you really want to be unbreakable, you just have to accept the one thing, and that's you're already broken. We're all broken. All of us are. And rather than trying to keep the things away from us that might actually break us, we should focus on what's holding the brokenness together. And those are those deeply held personal core values.
Again, a lot of times people will really feel like there is something more, something different. If I was only doing this, or if I only had that, if I could only find my purpose. You say a lot of times that the purpose is right under your nose.
Well, the biggest lie about purpose is that it's something we find. We treat it like it's this Indiana Jones-like quest out for the crystal skull and my purpose, and it just doesn't work that way. Purpose is something we choose, and we choose it by activating those values that we hold closest to us.
Something my mom used to always say to me, and I've tried to teach it to my kids, that every day you can choose to be happy, or you can choose to be miserable. Even if you don't feel like being happy, you can still choose it. But forget, you say to forget about who you want to be, and really we should just start with kind of who you are right now. Can you dive into that a little bit more?
Well, most of us live a future life. We sort of put ourselves in a position to think about what our life would look like when we accomplish this or when we meet this goal, and we live in the future. And the problem is that future causes a level of uncertainty that causes anxiety. And I think we know there's an anxiety epidemic in this country. And many of those feelings are stemmed in the fact that we're worried about things that haven't happened yet. We need to pull ourselves back from the future, focus on the now, because the present is the only place we can actually make decisions to affect how we feel and what will actually happen in the future.
Yeah, we hear some, but what if? Well, what if might not ever happen either. You also tell people to really welcome in the inner critic. You say, welcome the inner critic to the party. Why do you think that?
Well, I think a lot of people, if you've heard this sort of advice before, we try to shut down that inner critic and not let it affect us. I treat it a little bit differently. I treat it to you're a bus driver with a entire pack of 5th grade rambunctious students in the back. If you've ever been around 5th graders, I think you know what I'm talking about. But the idea here is that we want to give them a voice because typically there's something really important in the middle of all of those things that they're saying, but we never want to let them drive the bus. They can tell us what we want, we can have them take a seat, but we can't ever give up control because that's when things get messy.
Yeah, don't let it control you, but listen, because it might be trying to tell you something. Hey, Brant, we sure do appreciate you getting our minds kind of thinking maybe in a different way this morning, especially maybe coming off of a weekend where we're kind of feeling that on a Tuesday morning. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks
Absolutely.
much.
Yeah, and you can find more of Brant's advice if you like it by heading to fox59.com/links. Jim?
Like him. Yeah, right? Good stuff there. Good advice. All right. Hey, we're at 8:47, and you're right.